Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead. Power is taken, not given. Joined as always by the last king of Scotland, John Cooper from Counterpoint Politics. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing good, TJ. You sound very enthusiastic today. Hope it's been just like me. I'm sure you had a very relaxing and calm day.
No, today was super busy. Yeah, I didn't even get the link up for this till like 45 minutes ago. I was like, I wasn't even sure what we could. Yeah, I know. But you know, oh, that's right. It's Tuesday. It's kind of a chill day, so we can just talk about random shit going on. I don't know if you got a chance to look at the title of the episode. Did you see what I put?
I saw. I've seen the Katy Perry stuff. I don't know. Was Jeff Bezos involved in the space flight? All I know is Katy Perry went to space. She unfortunately came back, and that's all I know about it. So that's I don't know what it has to do with feminism. I saw she said some dumb shit about like protecting the Earth after doing a private space flight, which is pretty fucking dumb. But yeah, that's basically all I know about that.
Oh, that's good. Then we can learn together, us and everyone watching. So, yeah, Katy Perry went to space, ladies and gentlemen, and this does involve Jeff Bezos. She was part of a crew, an all-female crew that went to space, and it was Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin space shuttle company he has, and he went there, was it like a couple years ago? It's hard to keep track of when this happened, but do you remember when that time Jeff Bezos went up to space and he came back wearing that stupid cowboy hat and everything? Do you remember that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was, that's what happened. So go ahead and read what happened here. Katy Perry, Gayle King, and others reflect on their brief but historic trip to space. After returning from a brief trip to space, Katy Perry says she will definitely be writing a song about her experience, and we cannot wait for it, folks. We cannot wait to hear how incredible this song will be. Perry was one of 6 in an all-female crew that launched and landed safely on Monday morning aboard a rocket operated by Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin company. Other big names include journalist Gayle King and Bezos' fiancée Lauren Sanchez. The star-studded crew flew on Blue Origin's New Shepard launch vehicle, which since 2021 has ferried dozens of scientists, entrepreneurs, and celebrities above the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary of space about 62 miles above Earth's surface. It was the first all-female space flight since 1963, when Soviet-era cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman in space, orbited the Earth during a nearly 3-day solo flight. Blue Origin's flight was significantly shorter, lasting 10 minutes and 21 seconds. So this has been getting a lot of news attention and everything lately. And what I saw was a couple of things. First, we saw Katy Perry talking about, you know, how excited she was and everything about it. And even Gayle King mentioned that, you know, this isn't cool that people are making fun of this and everything. And she said that they're saying that we went for a ride in space, but they wouldn't say that if a man did. Gayle, yes, they would. Yes, they would. No one says Jeff Bezos piloted a mission into outer space. They said he took a ride into outer space. And it's just been funny. I saw them do, you know, like the, you know, pregame warm up or whatever, where they all put their hands in and they said, taking up space, you know, like a feminism crowd. Like, yeah, this is just rich people doing rich people shit. Don't try to co-opt feminism and all this. This is nonsense. Have you seen that, John?
Yeah, no, I love podcasts where two dudes talk about feminism, but
it
is very true.
Absolutely. If this was a crew of like all black, they're not even astronauts technically, but long story on that. But I was like, wow, this is a big step for black people. No, it's not. It's a bunch of rich people doing rich people shit and rubbing it in our faces. So yeah, I have no problem going off making fun of the Mick feminism going on here, you know.
So it's kind of weird. It's hard for me to have like a take on it because at one point on one side, that's basically what I've heard. Like I've only heard negative criticism of this and backlash to the concept that this is somehow advancing feminism. And sometimes you hear backlash without hearing the original statement because the backlash is louder than the thing it is lashing against. And I feel like that is the situation here. However, I also feel like Katy Perry is just like such a dead star now that like you're not really going to hear much about it. It's not like Taylor Swift went up there, you know? So like, I don't know. I only heard the backlash And to me, if I'm only hearing the backlash, and it couldn't have been that important to rage against. But yeah, you're entirely right. It's rainbow feminism. It's whatever. You shouldn't get excited about it, but I guess it's cool that we're able to send normal people to space. I can at least recognize that as an accomplishment of mankind, even if it's only rich people at this point.
Well, that's the main complaint that I have, and I'll try to find that Gayle King clip because I actually saw it just before we hopped on. But it really annoyed me when people try to hide behind the shield of something noble or praiseworthy, like feminism, and say, "Wow, you making fun of 6 people being shot to space for no reason at all, just to have fun." That's what gets me too. Just admit you did it because it was cool. That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There is no shame in it. If I had the money to do it, I would probably do it too. But, making this huge spectacle of it and having the cameras there and everybody watching it. And Katy Perry is not doing herself any favors here. I'll go ahead and try to share another clip here. When she said something when she landed, I'm pretty sure you're going to appreciate the sage words of one Miss Perry. By the way, her real name is not Katy Perry. It's like Kate Hudson, I think. She had to change it for Screen Actors Guild reasons or something. But okay, let's go here.
Okay.
Katy!
Woo!
I feel super connected to love. So connected to love. I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give, and how loved you are until the day you launch.
John, how do you feel about the fact that you will never know how loved you are because you're never going to launch into space? How do you feel about that, John? That's kind of a bleak sentence for billions of people who will never get the opportunity to know how loved they are.
Honestly, TJ, as much as it deserves criticism, shame wrong. I also feel like I will not ever feel as loved as Katy Perry does until I have the money to launch myself into space. I feel like I will feel a hell of a lot more loved when I have millions and millions of dollars at my disposal. I actually can't disagree with her statement. But Katy, read the room, bro. That's kind of where we're at here, where it's like, I prefer my celebrities to be like Bill Burr. That's what I want out of my celebrity activism here, and really nothing less. Like, either just shut the fuck up and get out of here, or bring an axe to this fight. Don't be telling me about love right now. Love ain't gonna conquer all. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not gonna get excited about that. I think we did that in the first Trump term, and it didn't fucking, if anything, it did bad things. So maybe we just leave that all in the past, Katy. I'm not going to get too upset about it. I'm not expecting Katy Perry to be a beacon of fucking social change here. Like, she's going to be a rich dumb person. Like, I'm not going to be upset about it. But yeah, you're right. Like, whatever.
Well, so I guess I'm not as upset with Katy Perry. You're right. It's not like what did I expect? She's Katy Perry. But I'm upset about the fact that this is allowed to happen. That Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, to a much more pathetic extent, is able to fund these useless trips into outer space. It's not like they're doing scientific experiments. It's not like it's bettering space travel or humanity or anything like that. But it's a lot of money. No human being should have enough money to do this. No one person should have enough money to say, yeah, I'm just going to start building these rockets and sending people on joy rides into space, burning more carbon emissions than you will for 10 years to get somebody in space for 5 minutes for no good reason. And one more thing I wanted to add on this is Katy Perry's experience in space was a little bit different than another individual you guys may be aware of. John, have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Bill Shatner? Oh, William Shatner. You heard of this guy?
Old Billy Boy. Yes. And someone mentioned it. Who said it? Colby said nothing will top William Shatner's Blue Origin quote.
All right. That's funny. I thought I had it here. Well, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'm not going to share it with you guys, but I'll pull it up and show you what William Shatner had to say because it was pretty fat. Are you familiar with this, John?
So it's ringing a bell, but I can't remember specifically what he said. While you pull it up, I just want to say I do kind of disagree with the take. Like, in terms of the carbon emission things, yeah, it's kind of a waste. But I want rich people doing rich people shit with their money. I want them buying giant mega yachts that employ 5,000 people to make and send that money through the economy, as opposed to hoarding it or investing it in massive crypto scams or useless companies that are never going to return a profit or whatever. Like, the best thing rich people can do with their money is buy dumb rich people, obscenely rich people shit, because that is the way the money does trickle down, as opposed to basically every single other way that they use it. Don't buy fucking art. Buy a yacht.
Don't buy art. Yeah, so I guess this would be better than them just letting it sit in a barrel somewhere. But they shouldn't have it. I'm sure you agree and everything. They shouldn't have it in the first place. Yeah,
they should have money in the first place. If they're going to have the money, I encourage them to spend it on things like this. Minus the emissions thing. Again, like, that's a separate issue and a separate bucket. I'm more disagreeing in principle.
Yeah. So when William Shatner went to outer space, he came back with a cold, bleak observation from the time he was in outer space. He was not happy. I think he went up with Bezos, actually. I think he went up with Bezos at the same time. And while everyone else was celebrating, he said he felt horrified. And he wrote about it. And he said, when he went to space, I saw a cold, dark, black emptiness. It was unlike any blackness you can see or feel on Earth. It was deep, enveloping, all-encompassing. I turned back toward the light of home. I could see the curvature of the earth, the beige of the desert, and the white clouds in the blue sky, nurturing, sustaining life, Mother Earth, and I was leaving her. I thought going into space would be the ultimate catharsis of that connection I've been looking for between all living things, that being up there would be the next beautiful step to understanding the harmony of the universe. It was among the strongest feelings of grief I have ever encountered. The contrast between the vicious coldness of space and the warm nurturing of Earth below filled me with overwhelming sadness. Each day, we are confronted with the knowledge of further destruction of Earth at our hands, the extinction of animal species, of flora and fauna, things that took 5 billion years to evolve, and suddenly we will never see them again because of the interference of mankind. It filled me with dread. My trip to space was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, it felt like a funeral. It reinforced tenfold my own view on the power of our beautiful, mysterious, collective human entanglement. And eventually, it returned to the feeling of hope in my heart. Well, so then he says when he got back, he was happy. But basically, space was horrifying to him. He hated every fucking second of it. And when you go into space travel, like, you don't see like what we see in the atmosphere. Like, you think like when you look out in the sky, you see the stars and stuff. Or when you watch, Star Wars or something, Star Trek, and they're traveling, you see the stars. You don't see that in space. In space, you just see darkness. That's it. And then you'll see the moon or the Earth or something, but it's just black as far as you can see, like the deepest, creepiest void that you can conjure up in your brain. And so, yeah, Shatner. It was really funny. Whoever said that, because when I saw Katy Perry give that speech, I was like, wow, Shatner had a very different reaction from when he went to space. Couldn't imagine two different views.
Honestly, like, that is such a Shatner thing. Like, it makes me think that they didn't even write his lines on Star Trek. He just pontificated himself, because that is so well written. You almost feel like he wrote that before going up. Like, that's such a well written statement for something he made up off the top of his seat. But I also have to say, if you imagine reading that in a Lego Batman voice, it becomes very, very funny.
He didn't like come up with it on the spot. He wrote like an article or something about it later on. And so, yeah, he was talking about how it was. So he had some time to think about it for a little bit.
Impressive, but less impressive. Still, yeah. I thought he said that coming off.
That would be wild.
Shuttle.
Right?
Like, that would have been wild.
that was kind of crazy. Folks, sorry we haven't looked at the comments. Oh, go ahead, John.
I was going to say, yeah, by the way, this is our Q&A show here on Tuesdays. So if you guys have any questions, comments, things that you want us to answer, things you want to know about us, things you want to know about any of the horrific atrocities going on in humanity right now, definitely leave a comment below. Not too much going on in the comments here. Had a couple of just random comments, but huge ass one to address, because I said, don't buy art. I mean, like, paintings. The paintings that are basically just giant tax write-offs for the rich that don't actually patronize artists. That's what I'm talking about. If you're rich and you want to spend money patronizing artists, definitely do so, especially if they have a political talk show with about 4,500 subscribers. I heard that's a nice, really good type of artist to patronize.
I love that. I love it so much. All right, and Zeke, love to see you, man. He said, "God damn, that's a good letter." He said that. Yeah, I know, that's kind of wild. We should William Shatner's got to be like 90 years old by now. I mean,
He's got to be old. Yeah. I mean,
he's got to be like 90 by now. He is super old. I find out how old Shatner is.
94. Wow.
94.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I didn't think he was that old. That's sad.
Well,
But, man.
Well, if you think, because like Star Trek came on in the early or mid 60s, and that was 60 years ago. He was a grown man by then. So
Star Trek's one of those shows that make me sad because it was at the time incredibly progressive,
super progressive,
in a way that was so inspirational. It was the first show to feature, like main ensemble characters who are of minorities. I'm pretty sure it was the first show with an interracial kiss.
Yeah.
And like it had, the philosophy and the ideology of Star Trek. I mean, it was it was an explicitly communist enterprise.
Enterprise, nice.
Pardon the pun there. But explicitly, like they aren't even like messing around. Hey, it's in the subtext. Like, no, they straight up say we are communists that don't even have a concept of money. And like that is so cool. And to me, I actually feel like, they say that you can't make Blazing Saddles anymore, which is bullshit. Yes, you can. But I feel like you couldn't make Star Trek nowadays. Like, I feel like if you made a Star Trek that was what Star Trek was in the 60s, it wouldn't be made today. Like, it just wouldn't. Like, could it be made? Like, could someone make a YouTube series about it? Sure. But would it get, backing from like a streaming channel or one of the main channels? I don't fucking think so. I don't think you'd have an explicitly communist enterprise, sci-fi show, with all the progressivism and stuff that was found in the original Star Trek. I don't think you could do it.
That's it. I think the communist part you could sneak by. I think you could, oddly enough. But I do think that if it was as woke as Star Trek was woke in the mid 60s, never happened. Never happened. All like whatever the equivalent in 2025 would be of having an interracial kiss, like whatever that equivalent would be, it wouldn't happen today. Like it would face so much backlash. It's actually really cool looking at the origin of Star Trek.
You still get backlash, TJ.
You still get it
for some reason. Interracial couples are back on the chopping block, and that is shocking. Like you would have told me like 10 years ago, people are going to still be upset about interracial couples. I would have been like, no fucking way. What are you talking about? That I thought that was the thing of the past. And here we are.
Yeah. When Gene Roddenberry came up with the idea of Star Trek, back in those days, the big shows were Westerns. Those are the shows that were dominating the market back then. And he had to sell the show as a wagon train to the stars. That's how he kind of got people to go along with it. And he wanted to put a lot of progressive ideas in it, culturally and racially and economically. And he did. He succeeded really well. Even Chekhov, Lieutenant Chekhov, was Russian specifically because he wanted to show, well, one day Americans and Russians are going to get along just fine, which was a wild concept for back in those days. But one area where Roddenberry was definitely no progressive. I mean, once again, the guy was born like in the 20s or 30s or something, but man, with women, no, he was not nearly as progressive.
Really? I didn't know that.
No. Well, I mean, think about if you think about the original Star Trek, what the women wore. Do you remember their uniform? They were like mini skirts, like in the military. Yeah. And so, and then when you now you could say, well, that was just to get sex appeal. Okay. But then you fast forward to the 80s with Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they brought Roddenberry on as like a director, consultant, whatever, and he still insisted on like the short mini skirts. They're like, so the first season they're still wearing them. They're like, buddy, no, this is not going to work, man. No. And even a lot of the roles, that was one area that he wasn't quite as strong in the other ones, but most of them, really good, especially for a guy born over 100 years ago.
Yeah, no, you got to sometimes take the good with the bad when you go back that far. Like, not to excuse anything, but to be like, you know what? I am sure there's something that I believe very adamantly right now that 100 years from now, I'm going to look like a fucking barbarian.
Eating meat.
What was that?
Eating meat.
I mean, I've said that a million times.
Eating meat.
Like, our grandkids are 100% going to look back on us like eating real meat from living animals. Like, especially with all of the horrible ways that we butcher them and slaughter them in slaughterhouses. Like, it is disgusting. And we just don't think about it because there isn't much of an alternative for us. But, like, when our grandkids are just raised on artificial meat that tastes exactly the same, they're going to be like, you did what?
Yep.
Like it's gonna be a bad look, TJ.
It is. Listen, folks, I hate to tell you this, but the vegans are right.
They're 100% correct.
I hate to say it.
I really hate to say it.
you ever have like a debate or discussion with them and everything, I like how people will flounder trying to prove a point. And well, we need the protein and iron. You can get that anywhere. You don't need meat to get it. It's a quick and efficient and delicious way to do it, but you don't need it. And there would be some leg to stand on if we hunted this food or something. Like if we went out and like put in the work and had a humane system where you went out, you caught your food or whatever. That's not what we do. We run torture facilities where these animals are like male chickens when they're chicks when they're born are fed immediately into this grinder to make chicky nuggies and stuff. There's no moral defense of at least our way of eating meat whatsoever. And if you really want to get down to it, we don't have to eat meat like lions. They have no choice. We don't have to do it, but we do it anyway because it tastes great. It's our culture. And like you said, 100, 200 years from now, whenever, if they will have lab-grown meat that will taste just fine, they will look at us like monsters. And you know what? They're going to be right. I mean, they are. There's no way.
Again, it's like if you are eating meat, don't take this as I'm judging you.
Yeah.
I do too. I just think it's morally wrong of me to do. And it's like, even like you said, like even if I don't even care about like going out and hunting it, even if you just did like organic free range meats, I think that's fine. It's just like a smarter way of hunting. But yeah, the factory shit. I try to avoid that when I can when I'm buying my own meats, and that means I eat less meat. But that's okay. We had a real question here that I want to get to, but it looks like you want to pull something up.
Oh, go to the question. Let's go.
All right. So Colby asks, only 5 days until the Secretary of Defense and Secretary of Homeland Security joint report on security of the southern border decide whether or not to invoke Martial Law Insurrection Act. What do you guys think? I think they're going to do it. I would honestly be surprised if they didn't. It seems like they're telling us they want to do that. And I feel like people are acting like they're not going to for some reason. And I really don't understand why they wouldn't.
That's exactly. I don't know what is stopping them from doing anything, honestly. Especially since we had that 9-0 Supreme Court decision saying that, hey, we got to bring that guy back. And Trump released a statement saying, I can't bring him back. I don't have the authority. Then brings the president of El Salvador here, says, well, I can't do it either. When he said that, it's like, oh my God, is this guy dead? Is this guy, I mean, what are you talking about? Neither of you have the authority to bring him back. How does that possibly work? So the fact that Trump could just flout a 9-0 Supreme Court decision. Clarence Thomas said, nah, Trump, you've gone too far. And Trump's like, nope. And you know what? Who's going to do anything about it? Like the executive branch's job is to enforce the law. And so if Trump says he's not going to do it, no one can make him.
This has been one of the more, I don't know, we're just getting escalatingly terrible news cycles. Like, there's so much to choose from in terms of what you want to be worried about. And to me, currently, the economic situation is the worst thing that I'm worried about because like, to me, it's like if we get rid of the Trump administration, there will have been damage done, but this stuff is minor, relatively speaking, and can be fixed with a new administration. The damage that is being done to our economy and to our standing within the global economy is damn near irreversible, and could lead to like cataclysmic circumstances. So like that to me, like that's what like keeps me worried. But I'm not gonna lie, TJ, I'm very worried about like I'm on these lists. And like I don't want to go to an El Salvadorian torture prison, TJ. I really don't. And I don't really know what to do about that. And I'm very confused. Like I've said this before on the show, but we knew he was going to do this. Yeah. And I don't know why the Supreme Court didn't war game what happens when he doesn't listen to us. They've been silent. I'm so confused as to why I haven't heard anything from them when he's blatantly not doing what they said. Why haven't there been arrests made for all of his officials? Like they should arrest Marco Rubio. They should arrest every single person involved in his deportation and hold them until he is back. They should have the legal authority to do it. And I don't understand why they don't. And I really don't understand what Trump would be able to do to stop them short of killing the people they sent to arrest them.
Wait, who would they send to arrest him?
Court
I
martial.
don't.
Court martials.
Court martial,
Like the court has some sort of
like the
enforcement
military.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. The courts have some sort of enforcement mechanism to hold people. Correct? Like they can hold you in contempt of court.
I mean, they hold you in
Who does
contempt of
that?
court. Yeah, like the the sergeant at arms or like the bailiff or whatever. But like for someone like outside of the court, it's not like because like this happened before. This happened with like Andrew Jackson, most famously, when the Supreme Court told him not to expel like the Seminoles, and he said, "Well, let them raise an army to stop me." I mean, I don't know like what they would do to actually, because as far as I know, the only punishment for a president who does something illegal is impeachment, and then Trump is already.
Yeah, Trump. They can't touch Trump, but they can touch everyone
Oh,
else.
I thought you
I'm
meant,
saying
okay, I was talking about
arrest
Trump.
the
Okay,
entire
gotcha.
chain of command underneath Trump.
Oh,
Like just
okay.
the people who physically deported him, arrest them. Like arrest the people that you can arrest,
Mhm.
so that they are worried about following Trump's orders.
Mhm.
They have to make the choice between getting fired and going to jail. Like that I feel like they have the power to do.
Okay.
And I'm confused as to why there wasn't already from minute number one a plan in place for when he did this. Because again,
'Cause-
if I'm a Supreme Court justice, this is my shit. This is like,
Well,
I'm talking about
'cause-
like the legal powers that I can expand the Supreme
I
Court.
just
Like,
thought of it because the reason they can't is because in order to do that, it would have to be an executive function. They'd have to use someone in the executive branch to do that, whose boss is Donald Trump. Like Supreme Court, it doesn't have like cops that work for them or anything like that. They have to work through.
Can they not like issue an arrest warrant?
Oh, I don't know if the Supreme Court issues arrest warrants or not, but I don't know.
Can
But
some judge issue an arrest warrant? Like, yeah, I'm not a legal, I'm not a lawyer. It just feels like there's something that, and I've said this on the show before. Just take one fucking cop that's on your side and just arrest them and say, "Fuck it, shoot me. Go ahead, or else I'm going to arrest you."
Yeah.
Make them cause a physical, make them resist arrest. Like that is how you do it. Like force them to resist arrest. Force them to escalate to violence. Make them be on the defensive here because they are in strict violation of the law. Like it's and this to me is a Rubicon. Like if you let Donald Trump just ignore a 9-0 Supreme Court ruling and send someone to a fucking gulag in another country that was ordered by the courts to not be there and be returned, there's nothing stopping him from doing anything else after that. Like, I don't understand, if we don't stop this, what's to stop him from doing it to every single person that he wants to?
Yeah, what this just reminded me of, I saw something about this earlier today. I won't read the whole thing. I don't think you think I can, but it's a blocked article anyway. But I think you can still see it from what I showed here, is that the Republicans plan to skirt the Senate rules to push through more tax cuts, and they're going around the parliamentarian. The parliamentarian has told them that we can't legally pass these tax cuts through the Senate. It's against parliamentary procedure. So the Republicans are saying, oh, well, actually, this measure to cut taxes, that's not the purview of the parliamentarian. We're going to circumvent and use an unbiased arbiter to work this out for us. And the arbiter they chose, Lindsey Graham. What's been most frustrating about these last 2.5 months, what's been so upsetting about this is the Republicans under Trump are kind of proving our point that a lot of the trappings and fixtures of how parliamentary procedure works or how government works are more like suggestions than they are actual rock solid laws. Because if they're real rules that can't be broken, why does Trump break one every other day? Yep. Well, why does this keep happening? And this is what we're trying to say. And John, I like your point is like, hey, make them do something. It's kind of like what we said with marijuana legalization, where Biden tried taking this long, circuitous path that takes several years of processing. It's like, no, just say it. I'm the president. I'm directing the Department of what's the DEA, drug enforcement or whatever, and telling them, nope, we're not. Marijuana is not going to be a Schedule I drug. It's not going to happen under my watch. And a lot of people said, you can't do that. The Republicans will tie it up in court. Let them do it. Let them do it. Let them have a public battle with the president of the United States in which they argue that marijuana is just as dangerous as heroin. Now, there's no way you lose that battle. And Trump is doing this for shit that's not popular. If we did this for stuff that was popular, we wouldn't be in this situation right now.
And that's the thing, TJ, is that if you're going to sit here and argue to me that these processes are important, right? You're saying they're so important that I'm going to follow them, even though I don't strictly have to, then you should make everyone do that. Like again, with the parliamentarian is just the most base level example, I feel like, where the Democrats, Joe Biden, the Democrats went, I know I have the power to replace the parliamentarian and go around them. We're going to choose not to. And it's like, bitch, the other side isn't going to do that. You're just handicapping yourself for no reason. So if you're going to make the argument that you should have to go through the parliament or whatever, right? You're going to make that argument. That's a fine argument to make, TJ. We can have that discussion. But then fucking do it. Set up some enforcement mechanisms that prevent the other side from choosing to do the thing that you're choosing not to do, because they're not going to do it. They're not going to. They're going to find every single way possible to accomplish their agenda, and it's a terrible fucking agenda. So, like, I want to see either you are doing everything you possibly can to enact a good agenda, or you're doing more to prevent them from enacting their agenda. And for some reason, for the past 4 years, two of which we had 3 chambers, right? Am I wrong about that?
The first 2 years of Biden?
Yeah, we had 2 years. We had all 3 fucking branches of government. I two branches of government, not the Supreme Court, whatever. But like, we had as much control as you could possibly want, and we did neither of those things. We did not ruthlessly attack our own agenda, and we did not ruthlessly reinforce the barriers to prevent our opponents from enacting theirs. We did neither, and this is the direct result of those decisions. Again, that's not to say that Trump isn't a terrible fucking human who deserves a ton of blame, but it's like, everyone who told us that we were freaking out and overreacting can go suck a fucking dick if you're not about to start listening to us. Like, that's all I have to say, is like, you were wrong this whole fucking time. Maybe admit that you might be wrong now, and let's fucking do something about this.
The key word John used there is ruthless. I cannot stress how important that word is, because like you said, John, this isn't saying Trump is a good person, whatever. But one thing you gotta give him credit for, Trump knows the game he is playing. It doesn't seem like Democrats do. It seems like they don't really know what's going on here, because one like halfway decent argument you can hear from Democrats is that, well, Biden couldn't actually push through this agenda because he didn't have 66 votes in the Senate. That, he had 51, 52 or whatever, and 2 or 3 of those votes were conservative Democrats, and they were never going to go along with a progressive vision anyway. Got it. Bully the fuck out of them. That's your You think Trump wouldn't do that? You think Trump would let some liberal ass Republican stand? Trump would be on TV, blistering against this guy. Trump would visit his home state. Trump would do everything to make this guy's life absolutely miserable. Biden didn't seem to have that in him. Biden didn't seem to be twisting any arms, which is funny because he was in the Senate for like 80 years. The guy would know exactly what to do when you have someone who won't play ball. And you never kind of got that vibe from him. I don't really know.
Yeah, so first of all, a couple things. I want to address some of the comments here. So Kyle said that the Supreme Court doesn't have a police force. The court marshals are supposed to respond to judges, but they're still part of the executive branch.
Yeah.
So have any fucking prosecutor issue an arrest warrant, and then have any fucking law enforcement officer that is willing to do it. Like, I'm very confused. Maybe I just don't know how these things work, but it seems like cops have the discretion to just arrest whoever the fuck they want. If their commanding officer tells them no, they can still fucking do it. They might get fired, but like, they can do it. They have the legal authority to do so. They don't need a chain of command to order them to do so. And if they are enacting an arrest warrant from the courts, I feel like they're protected.
Yeah.
And it only takes one cop to go and arrest these guys. And again, I know that we don't have a high opinion of cops around here, but I know there's good cops out there. I know there's cops that are willing to sacrifice their job in order to do the right thing for this country. So, like, Why haven't we tried? Why haven't we tried anything? Why? And I know that like congressmen are talking about going to El Salvador, and I'm glad they're fucking talking about it. But again, I would have been there with a fucking live camera crew Monday fucking night. Like I don't understand why it's taking this long. I'm like, again, we've known this was coming for months now. I would have already had the fucking flight booked, knowing that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's confusing why these things are taking so long to action. And at least there's some positive direction. I'm going to give you Democrats, like you're getting better, you're improving, but it's just confusing to the rest of us who are watching, who don't like. I don't do this for a living, guys. Like I don't. I have a normal job. I have no authority. I have no power. And like, this is what I would do. So why the fuck aren't you? That's what I'm very confused about.
Well, speaking of things we're confused about, did you see that Donald Trump had his yearly physical this last week? Did you see that, John?
Yes, I did. I saw he had the same exact athletic dimensions as fucking what was it, Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, so I don't know if you guys saw this, but according to Donald Trump's physical, he's 78 years old, 75 inches, meaning he's 6'3", which, listen, look, I don't fault anyone for fudging a vanity inch or two or whatever. Fine. I got it. People do it all the time. But Elon Musk is 6'2", right? That's like, you can find that anywhere. And I believe Elon Musk is 6'2". He stands next to Donald Trump, I feel like, every day. I see a picture of Musk next to Trump. He's a good 3-4 inches taller than Donald Trump. So either Elon Musk is 6'7" or 6'8", or Donald Trump is not 6'3". Like I don't know why he doesn't just say, "Oh, I'm 6 feet" or something. Give himself another inch and a half, but throwing on 4 inches on himself, insane. Absolute insanity. I don't know how everyone just lets this happen.
The height thing is actually very, like, the weight thing I get, but he's not a short man. Like, he's a tall. He doesn't need to add inches to his height.
Yes, that's actually it. Yes, that's it. That he doesn't need to lie about his height. Like, no one would shit on him for saying, "Oh, I'm 5'11". Like, okay, like, all right, like, what is And so also, but the weight thing does get me though. The weight thing gets me. That Donald Trump says he's 224 pounds. Why? And this is actually what's crazy about this is that last time he was in office, I remember he was like 228 or something, or 229. It was higher than 224, but it was 1 pound below what he would be, a weight where he would be classified as clinically obese. It was like 1 pound below that or something like that, which is why they picked it. But now they've gone even lower. These 224 pounds. Like, those are NFL quarterback stats right there. 6'3", 224.
Yeah.
Trump is pushing 300, probably over, easy. I mean, easy over 300 pounds. So I just thought that I got a big kick out of that. But the thing I laughed at the most, actually, is Trump talked about the physical. And Trump's favorite thing to brag about. Well, you know what? I'll just play it. Hold on. Let me see. I don't know if you've seen this, John.
Very low IQ president. And by the way, I took my cognitive exam as part of my physical exam, and I got the highest mark. And one of the doctors said, "Sir, I've never seen anybody get that kind of, that was the highest mark." I hope you're happy with that. Although they haven't been bugging me too much to take a cognitive, but I did do my physical and it was released. I hope you're all happy with it. I noticed there's no question, so probably you are. But the cognitive, they said to me, "Sir, would you like to take a cognitive test?" I said, "Did Biden take one?" "No." "Did anybody take one?" "No, not too many people took them." I said, what about Obama? Did he take one?" "No, he didn't take one either." I said, "Let me be the only one to take one." But I've actually taken them 3 times already. I like taking them because they're not too tough for me to take.
Thoughts, John? Thoughts on our dear leader here?
It's so funny. Like, it's just like, okay, I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to start somewhere, and it's not going to seem related, but
Okay.
So I have all the sympathy in the world for Republicans who have been felt like off-put by the Democratic Party. I totally understand if you say, "Hey, the Democratic Party sounds like a bunch of corporate HR fucking bozos that clearly are beholden to corporate interest and pretend otherwise." Like, brother, I'm with you. There's so many annoying people. I totally get it. The way they talk is just off-putting. But motherfucker, you listen to him too. Who says that? Who first of all, obviously he's lying because that's not how doctors talk. But like, second of all, it's just like morally repugnant on and like to me personally on a much higher level, but on any spectrum, it is fucking awful to like talk like that, like bad people. That's what bad narcissistic assholes do. And if you're going to like criticize the Democratic Party and stuff for all of their bullshit, I will stand there with you. But if you don't throw it at Donald Trump too, you're being a partisan biased schmuck. It's just like, it's so clear and obvious how wrong that is. Just on a base, if you know someone like that in real life, there's no way that you're telling me that you like that guy.
Yeah. It's like that people would say that if you had a 6-year-old who acted like Donald Trump, you would spend all day admonishing, correcting, punishing, counseling this 6-year-old. He said, listen, this is not how civilized human beings behave in the modern era. Like, this is unacceptable. And they see Trump do it. And this, like, they know that's a bullshit. And once again, we expect politicians to lie, but there's a threshold where say, what are you doing? Yeah, you're lying.
Lie better. If you're going to lie better.
Yes.
That's what I always say.
Yeah, exactly. The doctors came to me and said, you got the highest mark, sir. No one has ever scored this high on a cognitive. Really? Nobody's ever. But
Nobody has ever scored better marks. Forget the cognitive, the physical exam. No one has scored better marks on the physical exam than this near 80-year-old man. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. It's just funny. It's funny to me because, like, wow, this guy, he sounds like.
Wait, Mark Louderback had a funny one. I had a phone call. Are they talking about Bill Maher? That was a good one, Mark. I got to give that to you. No, because all of this could also apply. Everything we're saying right now could also apply to Bill Maher.
Oh yeah, kind of could. Yeah. Bill Maher, God, that guy. I don't want to. We spent a long time talking about Bill Maher, but it's weird that I used to like Bill Maher, like I don't know, 15 years ago that I liked Bill Maher, and I don't think I've liked him in. I can't remember the last time that I said, "Oh, Bill Maher, that guy's on it." Yeah, that was. Did you see him talking about how he went to dinner with Donald Trump and how nice Trump was to him? Did you see him talking about that?
Yeah, no, it's disgusting. Like Bill Maher, he's doing an I left the left. He's well into it. And like Bill Maher honestly was never one of us. But I always I appreciated Bill Maher's show because he was one of the few guys that genuinely brought people of different backgrounds on to talk and genuinely let them fight it out. And I appreciated that about his show. I really enjoyed that about his show, but he's just been so repugnant. I haven't watched in a long time.
Oh, he's awful. I remember Bill Maher's old show, Politically Incorrect, when it came on, in the early 2000s and everything.
Tell us.
So Bill Maher had the show. I think it was on ABC. It was called Politically Incorrect. And after 9/11, Bill Maher was talking on his show. And a common thing people would say was to call the 9/11 hijackers cowards. And Bill Maher got up there and said, okay, listen, you can call these guys evil. You can call them, terrorists. You cannot call them cowards. Hopping into an airplane and flying into a building is the least cowardly thing I can think of. Got raked over the coals for it. His show got canceled because of that. Like, he was literally canceled for that shit. And I remember, like, back then I was like, he's right. He's right. There's nothing cowardly about it. It's more courage than anyone listening anyone who heard that will ever show in their lives. I guarantee it's more courage. Doesn't make it good, but it certainly wasn't cowardly.
And the thing Bill Maher misses there is that he's very kind of racist against.
Middle Eastern people, Muslim folks, yeah.
There's that. Like he'll never take that and go, oh well, maybe there's a reason they were so courageous that isn't directly related to religious zealousy. But that's either way. Jaden Foster said, I'm glad John Oliver's still cool. John Oliver, one of the coolest motherfuckers right now. Like,
no complaints.
Like he's easily the best doing it right now. I don't think there's even a close second in terms of popular impact with the correct takes and effective communication. There's just no one doing it better. Kyle says, I used to love Bill Maher, even though I disagreed with him. Now he just seems like an aggrieved old man who doesn't like the youngsters. Exactly.
Yeah, that's him.
I used to be able to like get like I'm cool listening to someone who I disagree with. I usually enjoy it better than someone who I'm just agreeing with the whole time. Present company excluded, TJ. But the Bill Maher is just he just seems aggrieved. It doesn't even seem like he's coming from any place. It's just grievance. Whatever. I want to move back to some of the comments because there's a couple of good questions here. First, Kyle said, Hugh Jess, yes, Trump at this rate could just send all the Democrats overseas and say they aren't allowed back in. He kills political opponents, face no consequences. And that's like kind of related to, if Democrats went over to El Salvador. And my point here is, again, just make him do it. Like he could not let them back in. Make him do it. Make Donald Trump not let a sitting U.S. senator into the country. Make him fucking do it. Like make him hold you in a prison. I don't give a shit. There are people who have lived through terrible experiences in the name of civil rights, and you signed up to be a representative of the people. You make an obscene amount of money relative to the rest of the world in order to be a U.S. senator. Do something about it. You signed up for this. Go fucking put yourself at risk there. Make him do that to you. If you're worried about it, I totally understand. But you know what? I'm also worried about it. As I said, I'm starting to get genuinely worried that I'm on a list and they're going to come for me at some point. It's becoming I'm not saying it's likely going to happen, but it's becoming more and more of a genuine concern every day I continue to do this. And every day I have this conversation with myself and go, well, I can't just stop doing the right thing because it feels cowardly. So I feel like these senators can do the fucking same. And lastly, there was a good reason. Good question earlier. Because Hugh Jazz said apparently within the SCOTUS ruling, they acknowledged deportation was legal, but stopped short of requiring the government to return him to America. Thoughts? And I did want to address this, TJ, because the argument the Trump administration is making is so fucking weak and cowardly. Even for the Trump administration, it just defies all logic. Because what they are genuinely saying is the Supreme Court did not tell us to bring him back. They're saying they just said to facilitate his return. And if El Salvador wants to return him, we aren't going to stop them. And then El Salvador says, we're not going to return him. And they go, well, too bad. It is for an administration that doesn't want to look weak. It is the weakest fucking statement that a president has ever made. I swear to God, I can't think of another occurrence where a president, and again, we just went through 4 years of Joe Biden saying there was nothing he could do about Israel. And none of the shit he ever said was as weak as, well, this tiny South American country has this guy. There's nothing we can do to bring him back. Fucking JD Vance was like, what do you expect us to do? Invade El Salvador?
I saw that.
But I expect you to ask. I expect you to say, return him now. Because they've already returned multiple people that were sent there wrongly. And they aren't doing it with this guy. And it's just, again, if you're a conservative who supports this, I know you're not. I'm going to either assume you're dumb or you're intentionally lying. Because no halfway intelligent person sees that communication and goes, that's all being honest.
No.
Come on.
Well, I don't think that they're dumb, and I don't think that they're unaware.
I don't think anyone's that dumb. I think
I don't. I don't think that they're unaware that this is just, lawyers prattle as some sort of way to get around it, but they're just happy that he's gone. That's it. They don't care. It doesn't really matter. Kind of like, if someone did an extra legal way to establish universal health care, good, let's go. Let's fucking go. I don't care that it's because I think that politicians have a different view of morality and law than a lot of regular citizens do. And I think it kind of seeps into us too when we cover politics. And because the question I asked last time, if you look at the Dred Scott decision or something, or Plessy versus Ferguson, and if let's say you were teleported back in time to, and you're a Supreme Court justice for the Plessy versus Ferguson case. And through the reading of the Constitution, you're like, actually, no, I don't see a reason that we can't have separate but equal. That seems like it follows the Constitution to me and that this is the right choice. Would you do that? Or would you say, fuck it, I actually don't give a shit what the law says. If I have a chance to get rid of segregation, I'm going to do it. My guess is for all the non-Republicans listening, you guys would say, yeah, fuck it, I don't care. And that's how the Republicans are seeing this.
They would say it, TJ.
They would say it. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, they would probably say it. But that's how the Republicans are seeing this. That, okay, fine, sure, all 9 Supreme Court justices, including the 3 or 4 most conservative justices we've had in the last 50 years, all said this is wrong, and Trump's overturning it. And the excuse doesn't matter. They're just happy that this guy is suffering and or dead for the egregious crime of not having the proper documentation when he's living in the United States. That's a
PJ,
death
no, that
penalty
wasn't
sentence for
even,
them.
there was no crime. There was not having the proper. He was not been charged with a crime. He's not been convicted of a crime. There is no crime. He had tattoos. That's the entire evidence.
Well, I meant not being a green card or a permanent resident, that part, that's the crime to them. And that is a crime punishable by death. Like if they shot him, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care at all. Like they're monstrous. So yeah, that's why I don't really think it matters like how bad the excuse is.
Colby asked, did you guys see the U.S. citizen that was told to deport even though she was born here?
No.
I did. So it was an immigration lawyer. This is a thing where I'm like, that was clearly a mistake. I will believe the Trump administration 100% when they say that the letter sent to an immigration attorney telling her to leave the country was meant to be sent to one of her clients, and there was an error. That I 100% believe was an error. But yeah, it's very fucking scary because again, I think that was an error, but I do think those letters are going to be coming, and I actually don't think they're going to be letters. I think they're going to be knocks on your doors before you fucking know about it.
Yeah, this whole due process thing these past few weeks has been, I already had a fairly low opinion of your average American and certainly your average conservative. But man, listening to them say that, wow, no, due process doesn't need to happen. It doesn't. If they're an illegal immigrant, you can just fly them out. And then you ask a simple question, well, how do you prove it? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like rounding people up and just shipping them off is that they love that shit. They want a lot more. And when you're as cavalier about this as the Trump administration has been, you are going to see a lot of it. And they will cheer in the streets for it. That's the thing too. Like when you started giving that example about Trump not letting a sitting congressman or senator back then, I think his point to Republicans would be 100%. I really do. I don't think it would. A lot of regular folk are going to be, turned off by it. But there's nothing like Trump consistently got 90% support from Republicans his first 4 years. He still has it now. And I think that the more cruel and unhinged he is, they get off on it more. I don't think it's really going to matter. Not with the support amongst, the Republicans. Regular people, you're right. I think that they will sour on that. But for the ones who are actually in power and the ones who are his voting base, I think they'll love it.
Yeah, and I think you're right. But also, I saw something that like his approval rating among independents is the lowest of all time.
Yeah,
already. Like again, like it's going to get electorally worse, and so the authoritarianism is going to crack up. And
I agree.
That's why I think like whatever it fucking is, and it should have been this. There needs to be not a line in the stand. There needs to be a cement wall erected by the Democrats, and clear consequences if that goes forward. What are they going to do if you pass this line? And that hasn't been explicitly stated, I think, because they're cowards. And so like I feel like there's nothing holding him back. There's nothing we can do, and it's just going to continue to escalate into pure authoritarian fascism. Like, guys, I don't know if you noticed, but Auschwitz wasn't in Germany either, and there was a reason for that. And it's the same fucking arguments made right here in front of us. And you're right, TJ. Like, I didn't have a high opinion of the American people, but if you were to like poll me a year ago and say, do you think strict violations of due process would fly with over 20% of maybe 33% of Americans, I would have said, hell fucking no. They'd be abhorrent. They'd be saying that's crazy. They say they'd never be against that. Apparently fucking not, TJ. Apparently not. And he's saying that he's going to do this to American citizens. And God damn it, if he's saying that he wants to do it, he's going to do it. And even if you're saying, oh, he won't. Like, I can't take that from Republicans anymore, where it's like, oh, he's not going to do this thing. Yes, he fucking is. And just the fact that he's saying he wants to should be impeachable offense to you. Like, I don't understand how you hear a president go, I want to deport U.S. citizens to a gulag in El Salvador, known for, like, if you've seen the fucking pictures of this place, if you can picture yourself being there without due process and go, I'm all right with the president having the power to do that to me.
It's
how deep can the fucking boot get down your throat, bro?
It's like what you guys need to understand about conservatives is that in their heart they are monarchists. I can't stress that enough. That they say they want small government, they want the smallest government possible. One fucking dude. That's the government. Like whatever Donald Trump says is law. It doesn't matter. And as long as he's hurting the people that they don't like, it's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm seriously not being hyperbolic here. Like I'm really not. What else do you need to see? Can you imagine any other president having sharing a picture of him wearing a crown and thinking, oh, look how great this is, look how awesome this is, and seeing people getting ecstatic over that? That wouldn't. I can't imagine that happening with any other president. I really can't. And I would still contend that the damage done by the Bush administration is worse than the Trump administration. I would still argue that, but like, seeing the capitulation to this fucking guy of all people, to this clown, this moron, and seeing that they're ecstatic over it and they want more harm and more damage. I mean, I don't know what you want to do. There were Democrats you were talking about, John, is that I think they're still holding on to that strategy. I can't remember if it was Schumer or Jeffries who said it, where they just want to sit back and just like let Trump do the damage and then let the Republicans suffer in the polls a year and a half from now. That seems to be honestly their strategy here, because I would expect to have heard a lot more. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention, but I would have expected to hear a lot more like 5-alarm fire shit from the Democrats for stuff like people being shipped off and what was the thing? I can't remember. But a lot of other stuff is going on where they have Mahmoud Khalil. When you saw them ask about Democrats about Mahmoud Khalil, they would just start off with 5 minutes of, listen, I need you to understand, I think Hamas is bad. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, who gives a fuck if Hamas is bad? Like, what does that matter? Like, this guy was a permanent resident who was arrested and locked away with no representation. Like, what for something he said? It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Do you know why it's bad to preamble with Hamas is bad? Because I understand why you're doing it. I understand you're like, oh, I don't want to be taken out of context later and whatnot. And it's like, if you preamble with Hamas is bad, you are implying that the threat of Hamas is somewhere relative to the threat that Donald Trump is posing right now. And it's not. They are in separate oceans. There's nothing Hamas will do to any American in America that Donald Trump hasn't already done and is continuing to do. Hamas is not going to knock on my door, break into my house, and send me to a torture camp in El Salvador. They're not going to fucking do that. Donald Trump is saying he wants to do that. So, like, why are these things related? Why are you even accepting the framing that this is about anything to do with anti-Semitism or Hamas or Israel? This is to do about a defiance of Donald Trump's power and America. And they're explicit about this. They're just saying, oh yeah, if you're anti-American, you shouldn't be here. I'm like, bitch, I said this on Threads. I was like, if you are an organization that says, I don't want any dissenters to join our organization, you're going to fucking fail 100% of the time. I don't care if it's a country. I don't care if it's a tech company. I don't care if it's a sports organization. If you see they just surround themselves with yes men, their life expectancy isn't very long, because dissent and debate and healthy critique is how you improve. And if you are unwilling to hear dissent, you're going to fail. And I don't understand what people don't seem to get about that.
Yeah. We're on out of time here, but I have to address Mark's comment here. Thank you so much for this, Mark. I don't think TJ is wrong. I really am. I just think that Democrats are the same way about monarchy, as in Democrats support monarchy too. That's why they want to eliminate the filibuster. Everyone wants a dictator to do what they think is right.
They don't.
I really appreciate Mark saying that a majority vote in the Senate is monarchy. That's fantastic. Yeah. I don't think I've seen something that bad in a long time. That you see, majority rule is just as bad as one guy making all the rules, right? Thank you for that, Mark. That's great. I don't know what we do without you, man.
Not only majority,
it's amazing.
And also they don't. They had the power to do so, and they chose not to.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of a more clear example of something the Democrats don't want to do than they didn't do it when they could have.
I think what to be charitable to Mark's really stupid comments, to be charitable to that is I think what he's referring to is that most of the Democrats said, like in the Senate, wanted to, but it was blocked by Sinema and Manchin. I think a lot of Democrats said they wanted to get rid of it because they should, but it stuck around. And this is the thing too, like, do you think the Republicans are going to hesitate for a second to get rid of filibuster if they need to? Like, do you think like maybe they'll keep it in the books?
I'm actually confused why it exists right now. I think it's just because there hasn't been a use of it yet.
Yes. Well, the thing is, like, for Republicans, so the filibuster doesn't affect the two things the Republicans care about most, and that's financial votes and votes for confirmations. Outside of that, you need a filibuster. And so for stuff that could actually help us, like, oh, well, sorry, you need 66 votes. So the Republicans don't need the filibuster. I mean, the Democrats, the Republicans don't need the filibuster as much as Democrats do. So to get rid of as much as Democrats do. So that's why. But do you think, like, if a measure came forth to put like a nationwide abortion ban, that they wouldn't do a carve out for the filibuster?
I think they're going to nuke the filibuster to pass the SAVE Act.
Yeah,
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
I would be surprised if it doesn't at this point. I honestly don't understand why they wouldn't, because it's not like Donald Trump's timeline extends past when he's in power. So why does it fucking matter?
Yeah,
I just want to address Mark. I appreciate you watched Unlearning Economics. I saw your comments. I don't know exactly what video you're referring to, so I can't intelligently answer your question. But I mean, any indigenous society had an economy. Everyone that has ever traded in a system has an economy. So I really don't know what you're referring to there, but that's an answer to your question. But yeah, cool. TJ, anything to wrap up with today?
Tune in on Thursday. Don't know if I called Nick Powers and tried to get him to come on, but he's busy. I don't know if we'll find someone for Thursday just yet, but I do want to do some Elon talk on Thursday. Seeing Tesla crater with Canada has pulled their credits for buying Teslas. Cybertrucks have been banned in, I think, the entire European Union, and Tesla stock is crashing. I want to go over the promises Elon Musk has made and what he's actually delivered, like the 29-minute Hyperloop from Washington to Los Angeles, stuff like that. And just seeing, like, when you guys see like the gulf between what Elon promises and what he delivers 5 years later, can't wait. So I don't know what else we'll talk about, but I definitely want to talk about that one.
All right. See you guys on Thursday, 6:30 EST. This is the Left Wing catchphrase to sign off.